Hey guys, welcome to Recovery Coaching Wellness. My name is David. If anyone wants to know my contact information after this video is done, feel free to look in the description box and you can contact me that way. I just wanted to add that right now my website may look a little funny, but I'm getting that resolved today. So it's just I put a link on my website, and it just the way that a website is designed, it can condense everything when you do that. So anyways, I'm getting that fixed today. So anyways, all the information is still there if you'd like to get in contact with me. This video is probably underestimated, I would say, in substance use and all addictions, mental health, whatever it is in life. It's whatever it is in life you're dealing with, life in general. You need some level of discipline to succeed. I can tell you, so I've been in recovery for about 13 years. I don't know the exact date. I don't know the date, because I got really sick with pain in those years. But the importance of discipline over everything in your life. I wrote an article. I write articles, and I thought you might enjoy this. When you're in the beginning of your journey, and if you're in a contemplation stage, just making sure my video is recording. If you're in a contemplation stage, discipline may not strike you. It wouldn't strike anyone well. People don't like the word discipline. And when I was a child, I was a problem child. I got into trouble, and I was restless in class, and it led me to trouble. And I had a lack of discipline. Let's just put it that way. I had a lack of discipline. And my life went awry because of that. But I had things like, attention deficit and those types of things. Very restless in class, and then all of a sudden you start forming all these, bad habits that take you out of discipline. So I thought you might enjoy the article that I have written. It's called Discipline. Now, it's why discipline is so important in addictions recovery. So, listen, this can be applied to everything in life, but especially to this. It could be sex addiction. It could be a mental health issue. You're going to say, why does discipline matter in a mental health issue? For many different reasons. Almost every facet of your life. Mental health. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you able to bring yourself to the same bedtime? Are you able to go for walks to help release your endorphins, right? That type of thing. So you have a better sleep. So I'm going to read this. Most people are raised with some form or level of discipline. That may not be true for today's generation. I'm not saying they, not in its complete form, but a lot don't. It's not the way it used to be. But prior to the explosion of social media and devices, most parents taught their sons and daughters a level of discipline to survive in this world. For my brothers and I, it was a paper route. So I was born in the late 70s. These are important building blocks for the future. When we wake up in the morning or after our breakfast, what do? We make our beds and take a shower. The simplicity cannot be underestimated, and the value that is attached. Our parents were attempting to instill a habit and way of life that only they could understand in its full capacity at that point in our lives. So at least in my life, I'm sure some people understand the concept when they're young, but some do, some don't, right? You wonder why some people never touch drugs. They never even had a drink. I spoke to a person the other day from high school. I'm working in a nursing home, and in any case, I saw him, and he said, I never did any of that stuff. And when I read the statistics of how many school, junior high, and high school is a very high percentage of all different types of drugs and behaviors. And to see that is really strange. Pardon me a second. Pardon me, I'm eating as I go along here. Because I have discipline. It's true, because I have discipline. I have to eat slowly because of abdominal pain and also meet my other requirements of time. I have a time constraint. I have to go work today, so I'm making sure I eat before I go. As we grow up, we look around and witness different levels of discipline, whether it be the college football player, babysitting, school projects, and activity outside the classroom. Not everyone grew up this way, and I understand that aspect. Learning to persist and grow with different levels of discipline helps us grow and evolve. I composed this article as one who did have a paper route. I hated it, by the way, for certain reasons that any kid would. But when alcohol and drugs came into view, discipline fell by the wayside. Getting into trouble doing drugs and drinking, in my case, took the place of discipline and planted something else completely different. My father helped us, 4 brothers, to have our own paper routes. To be honest, I didn't enjoy it. Delivering the news at 5 a.m., boy, man, we'd have to get up so early. I remember doing my papers and having to come home, and I'd have like maybe an hour to get back into, I live in Canada, man. And back then it was very cold here. You would consider it very cold now. And they later changed the route to 4 p.m. Commonly in the cold Canadian, brutal, frigid winter, at negative 40, not Fahrenheit, but Celsius. That's what it was, with wind chill. You don't see it. You don't see it at the time, but today I understand its worth. My parents wanted us to be hard workers and to become independent. Don't be tricked by that word independent, the independent person. Like, when they say that, that's usually independent women. They say that too, who don't want a man. Sorry, I don't mean to say that, but that's just what's going on in society. Parents today must face. There's nothing wrong with being independent, but can you work with people? Parents today must face outstanding challenges with all the distractions and danger. Life was simpler a mere 25 years ago, a mere 20 years ago. Due to distractibility and restlessness in junior high, I took my frustration out in the outdoors with biking, swimming, a lot of different types of sports, doing drugs and binge drinking. Jobs during this time, age 17 to 19, were only fleeting. A great deal of time was spent searching for marijuana and using substances in general. The last 2 years of high school, I had a job at the local grocery store, working in the produce section, of which I despised. I was always irritable and I didn't feel well because I spent a lot of time, because I was on, antidepressants at that time. I was a depressed person, I had issues, and it was because of these medications, actually, but not fully. But when I would drink, they would make me feel like overdosed, and then going to work like that was very, very tough. Doing that when I was young, I go to work feeling overdosed because of the drug interactions. It was the summer, and a large gathering of people I knew were traveling to the mountains to celebrate after graduation. It was one of those parties you simply can't miss. Although I had worked double shifts, so I took someone's shift. And, I did my shift, and a guy asked me, can you do my shift? And I did his shift, of which my manager didn't recognize. He told me that I must work or risk being fired. Can you guess which of the two I chose? Of course I chose to do this. It really was one of those parties, though, that is one of a lifetime thing. That was. Because it was the end of school. Discipline. Those actions were a sign of a substance use disorder that was already out of control. Not only that, but it was a sign of a lack of discipline. There are times when it's proper to relax, but do this on a continual basis is what gets one into a pattern of trouble. Discipline is key to understanding how to endure and succeed in life. Yes, I fully understand that substance abuse is a disease, and discipline may not be applied properly. So I pertain to life in general. Discipline is still possible while using, but certainly in recovery it is. Learn the tools and skills today. So, I've certainly seen, I remember my friend kept his job for the most part while he was a severe alcoholic, one of the worst you'd ever see. Pardon me a second here. I would always wonder how he kept his job. I didn't understand. We all have different levels of discipline. I get a lot of spasms in my chest. In a concurrent disorder teaching manual, so I just finished the book, it said that people choose to release their anxiety. Whatever the cause, be it social anxiety, worthlessness, that would come in like PTSD, or a major depression, a feeling of inferiority, and doing this instead of furthering one's life. It's an easier way out. Think about it. There's a clear line or pathway in our youth that we willingly take. Tolerate the feelings of discomfort and shortcomings, whatever the cause is, and work towards your goals in life. So, whatever it is that's making you feel uncomfortable, it's much easier not using those drugs and tolerating those feelings of discomfort for a short time to make a pathway in life and to avoid a life of hell. What I'm expressing is from an addiction aspect. In general, discipline is the most important building block to attain what you want. At what point do you decide that you've had enough and want something different than constant drug use? Without any discipline, what occurs is chaos and a lack of direction. I would argue that even in addiction, it's possible to keep a level of discipline, as I said, because I've witnessed it firsthand, and in myself as well. But each person's different. People can still work their jobs, but it'd be much better without substances. And in case, it would be very uncomfortable to learn it in those circumstances. We all have at some time. We all have some level of discipline, even while we're using. My life may differ from yours. Suffering with multiple intractable pain disorders helped me set a straight path. How could I deal with my physical pain with medications that keep me alive and retain no discipline? Don't you agree that it would be a sure way to fail and confront disaster? So I have very severe intractable abdominal pains. That's why you see me move back and forth a lot. In life without pain, in my earlier years, I used to avoid uncomfortable feelings like anxiety and developed an adverse approach at dealing with responsibilities, and my brain became accustomed. Severe pain helped guide me. You ever heard of neuroplasticity? You can change. You can. You can learn new things and rewire your brain. It will work with you. Severe pain helped guide me to develop a daily cycle of healthy living, but it took time. Taking risks with drugs, I have dysphonia, so my throat is going, just don't worry. Taking risks with drugs and alcohol are inconceivable to me today, because it's better to feel healthy with some discomfort, whether that be physical or psychological, and look forward to new pathways and goals. I can help you achieve your goals if you let me. I've been through this. I know this. I can help you both from a faith-based, as it says on my website, but it doesn't mean I'm going to put that on you. But I can work with everyone. So I'm not judgmental. And I'll help keep you accountable. When you develop your own template, your own vision of discipline that works for you, now you can reach for the stars by working slowly towards goals that are big or small. It takes work to do the same thing day after day, but you'll find yourself in a better position. Practice does make perfect. People take those first steps, right? They do that. They may even take their second and third, but they get bored of it. But they don't realize if you keep doing that, you're going to develop something good. So practice does make perfect, and you may apply this to anything in life. Now I'd like to share with you my own schedules that keep me healthy. I don't want you to view discipline as being something so strict that you don't have room for anything else. No. You can switch things up at any time, but check yourself first before abandoning something good that keeps you healthy. What are you working towards, and what is the end goal? When it pertains to my own life, I want to be strong and healthy first. Although I use opiates for pain control, I don't abuse them and have been on them for over 20 years. Making sure to keep a solid bed, and don't be thrown off by that. I can't operate. My body would not work without them. I wish I didn't have to take them. Making sure to keep a solid bedtime and stick with it within reason. This is key to staying well and alert. Not keeping this may result in more pain, a clouded mind due to a lack of rest. So if I miss my sleep, if say I regularly get 7 or 8 hours and I get a 5-hour sleep, I may find myself quite irritable. I may have a cloudy mind. I may not be able to think straight, and I'll have an altogether, I'll still get things done, but it won't be too comfortable. So if you have mental disorders, it might bring up paranoia, stress. It's very important to get a good bedtime, to keep a good bedtime hygiene. And eating healthy foods like I am right now. Oatmeal, blueberries, and oranges. So, the step is first, sleep, and foremost. This is the first most important thing. How will you function without at least 6 hours of rest? So how are you going to tackle your addiction if you have 1 hour sleep? So you're going to have to figure your sleep out. Having hope towards life can improve your sleep more than you could ever know. Waking up at the same time is also key. Not to say that you can't sleep in, but I prefer to stay disciplined. I want to get things done during the day. I'm hopeful through my day. I like doing what I do now. Find hope. I can help you find hope and purpose. Wake up, take my pain meds, and eat breakfast. Since I'm in university, I read for an hour when I eat slowly. So because of I have severe abdominal disorders, they're acute abdominal disorders. I have to eat very slowly, as you see me doing here. But off camera it's different. Like, I'll continuously eat, and I make it slow. I eat for 1 hour. I do it very slowly while I take my pain meds. What do I do with that time? I make sure that I am reading and learning, right? To help further myself. You may not be there. I'm not saying, that's not what I'm saying. I hope that you can get into a similar position. So so while I eat slowly, I read. So it provides a chance for me to learn. Usually I read scripture first in the morning when I first get up and eat. And it was an hour of scripture, but with university I do about half and half, and then I read a lot afterward. My supplements, medications, and everything I need to start my day are in front of me, set up the night before. I know people who listen to me would have pain, some of the people listening to this. Preparing beforehand equals success. My meals are all made the day before, so I'm not fumbling in the morning with severe pain and agitation. It's a smart idea. My life with multiple intractable pain disorders requires careful attention to these important aspects and the fact that I'm alone. Doing this repeatedly increased my chances of succeeding by repetition. The paper route. You know that wash on, wash off Karate Kid thing? They say that for a reason. After each morning meal, I do a workout for an hour. Due to pain, I must keep strong, and it helps me problem solve by tolerating workout frustration. Instead of the gym, I purchased home equipment to make it easier, and it worked out well. Because in my age, all you need to do is body weight. I'm in my mid-40s, so the stats say that it's best in your mid-40s not to hurt yourself with compound weights anymore, and just to keep strong with a full body workout, and that's what I do. I don't have any excuses, and I never miss my workout, except for times when overwhelming illness has occurred, like the stomach flu. Personally, I would rather approach my day with some endorphins and serotonin flowing to tackle the rest of whatever comes my way. So I do a workout in the morning, I get that frustration out, take a shower, and then when I come out from taking my shower, I approach my day. Especially to the men, why not work out? Get yourself strong again. Make it a thing. Never skip hygiene-related behaviors, as many addicts do. This I say for obvious reasons, but with intractable pain, dysphonia. But with intractable pain, it's common to avoid hygiene in a bid not to move because of pain. I've been there. I take a shower after a workout and shave. Today I shave. The rest of my day I can approach with confidence. Then I do my dishes, make the next day's food, healthy foods, mind you. You don't want foods in your body that are going to fight you, right? Heavy carbohydrate, McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's, whatever it is. High sugar, white sugar. I have time to do whatever I want. Those are the types of things that make people later in life get disease. Heart disease, sodas, if you keep under a certain level of sugar, but it's fine. Such as composing this article, school and studying are my life at the moment. After my second meal of the day, I do whatever chores I need to do outside the home. By walking there, I have a motorcycle, but I make sure I get my exercise in that way, my cardio. Again, I give no excuses. A daily walk will save you from many ailments. You have no idea. That's the best thing that you can do for you is go walk 2K a day. Go walk 1K. See what happens. More than you can imagine. Mixed with healthy foods like daily greens, water throughout the day, fish, protein, mixed fruits, limited carbs. As I have a strict diet due to abdominal disorders. I keep well that way. I find that 95% of people don't understand the simplicity of the immediate health benefits of the natural endorphins, and staying in shape in this electronic world is the best decision you could ever make. Most days I walk twice, and if I don't, I'm moving around somehow. So I'm very busy in my home, When I get back from whatever I did, I clean up, do more chores if necessary. I eat and I go out again. Don't get me wrong, I like my lifestyle. I study, I read things, I design things. I know how to design websites and I know how to build things with my hands and work with my hands. Learn to work with your hands. Pardon me a sec. This is longer than I thought. But my hope is that it edifies you. What do I mean by that? That it helps you understand. Keep in mind that I suffer with multiple pain disorders, and moving around helps me immensely. If you have pain, I can help you, especially with over 20 years of intractable pain knowledge and experience. But in a coaching capacity, I can't give you medical advice. I can guide you with anything. My goal isn't to bore you with my routine. On top of this, I work part-time, so I have my own business. It's just a small business. And I'm also in university for addictions counseling. I also work, it's volunteering, but towards what I'm doing in university, which is addictions counseling. It is work. I go for 2 long walks every day because it raises the natural endorphins, which I can ride out the rest of the day. Go on a kilometer walk, you'll ride that possibly for the rest of your day. You're wondering why you're sitting around and you're feeling bad because you didn't go out for a walk. That versus a run, you might feel bad when you run because you might find it hard. Maybe you don't, but walking is, non-impact and it's just a good way to raise your endorphins while you're feeling comfortable. It's hard though when you're smoking. At any one time, I have multiple projects on the go. Keeping myself busy is key in life, but I also understand that relaxation is also necessary. Well, for me, it's a lot of learning right now because I wasted a lot of my life. Idle hands are the devil's plaything. When people don't have things to do, what do? They gossip. They engage in worthless endeavors, such as substance abuse or addiction to sex and video games. This is the worst of society today. I don't mean healthy sex either, okay? Not only substance abusers, but most people have trouble with discipline. And I've experienced both sides and understand what it takes to change for the good. We have all heard the empty promises of another New Year's resolution, right now, right? Which I will never understand. Most plans fail because they don't have the patience or a solid idea behind it with a fallback solution if relapse occurs with food. So they say, oh, I relapsed, and then, that's it. No, try again, keep going. One single step is all it takes to create a plan and a way of life. Start slow, have a plan in mind, and keep with it. Doing the dishes or taking out the trash requires discipline. So think of the simplicity of taking out the trash. Doing these tasks repeatedly will help you in life in terms of problem solving, which I believe is imperative to learning patience. Today, for me to stay here on video with this abdominal pain and pain in my legs and lower back is patience. I learned to do it. Today, a great majority of people are on a computer, tablet, or smartphone, which destroys the ability to solve problems. I mean, I'm on mine too, but that's like I'm on my laptop. You don't see me on a smartphone, scrolling endlessly. I don't do that. I'm learning. It's like reading a book, and I'm not pointing at people, like I'm just saying, recognize the things that are hurting you. Computer, tablet, or smartphone, which destroys it, or video games. Video gaming, wow. That's horrific, man, what's happened with that. Which destroys the ability to problem solve because it's all about instant gratification and a lack of concentration, which is mostly caused by social media, scrolling, and addiction. Wouldn't it be nice to work for a reward and gain skills along the way? Listen to this, I'm going to tell you this. I didn't write this in here. You can look this up. Scrolling more off on any of these social media sites, let's just say YouTube, Instagram, whatever other ones there are. Facebook, when you get a like on Facebook, when you post, when someone reshares your thing or comments on your thing, if it's good, it wouldn't be that if it was a down, right? If it was a dislike. When you get one of those, it's the equivalent in your brain in dopamine units. I don't know the science around it, okay? I don't study that. But they give a measurement. It's 400 units of dopamine that you get from those likes, from people who are constantly scrolling. That is equal to a hit of cocaine in its full power. A line of cocaine, a regular line of cocaine. Can you imagine? And that's one of the most addictive things. Now, I think methamphetamines was the only one higher, but you get my point. Break it. Break social media if you can. You'll find yourself in a different world. Pardon me. That's crazy, eh? It's rewired your brain. Sorry, I don't like eating in the camera, so. So like I said, neuroplasticity. I can't give you the full definition of that scientifically, but just like you unlearn things, now you're scrolling through social media or video games, and with video games, you're used to that. You're rewired that way. Or it's like trauma. Trauma does that to you too when you're constantly having trauma. When you have a stroke, things happen to your brain. But neuroplasticity is when your body starts adapting with you changing. You decide to make a change. I'm going to try to reverse this. Your brain is capable of rewiring itself. And obviously it's much harder with a stroke and stuff like that, but you get my point, right? I remember I was bed and couch bound for 10 years, pretty close to a decade. So I know what suffering is. And when I moved in this place over 6 years ago, I was walking with a cane. I was lucky to be walking with a cane. And I was bent over like this. And the grocery store was only about another half-kilometer away, and I never could make it there because I didn't believe I could. But one day I dropped that cane altogether, just got rid of the cane. And from that point, my life changed, but for many other reasons too. Neuroplasticity. My life was destroyed by intractable pain, but when I found out what it was, so for those years I didn't know what it was, and how to treat it, I began my life over again. My situation in general, in every category of life, was at level 1. Humbling doesn't begin to describe what I went through, but I held on and pushed forward, while gaining a skill here and there, and suddenly I'm able to teach others to do the same. Monotonous tasks, so when in terms of suffering, I can empathize with most any situation. Monotonous tasks are worth more than you realize. You become proficient in what you do. A martial artist who practices a single kick over and over and over can be a dangerous opponent because he remembers how to do it. I know there are setbacks along the way. We all face them. Imagine, if you will, a single skill gained. You have that skill for the rest of your life. So let's say you learn to do a spreadsheet on a computer, right? You learn that. It could take you 15 minutes. Just take 15 minutes of your time that you would otherwise spend on 2 hours of gaming, gain that skill. You have it for life. Go for another one after that. Suddenly, you're able to teach others to do that. Now treat it as though it's a game and acquire more, just like in a video game. But this is life. You'd be surprised at what you could do, and it won't be you who recognizes it in yourself first. People tend to notice these subtle changes that otherwise wouldn't be noticed on your own. If dopamine instant gratification is your issue, then please put that phone away. Yes, we must learn by using what we have at our fingertips, but use wise judgment and don't get carried away with this world. It begins with a single step. So with that, I'm going to end the video here. It's almost 40 minutes. So again, like I said on my website, right now, I want to put a link, and so I did design this website myself, and it's very intricate stuff. And in any case, I went to put up a link in it, and it made some of the other views, like you have, your computer, tablet, and mobile, and you have to configure each one. So anyways, you'll get the basic idea. But if you're interested in recovery coaching, and it's not just substances, it's mental health issues, it's other addictions, but I don't give medical advice. That would be very unprofessional of me. So I do my best to guide you, to hold you accountable, and to make sure that you don't, to make sure you don't run into triggers and you don't know how to handle it. That's a very important skill for you to learn, is what's going to happen when you feel triggered. And people feel triggered, and when they're in the early stages, their emotions get the better of them and they go to the drug first. So I'll help you figure out what those triggers are, mark them down, and talk with you. How are we going to do this? How are you going to defeat each one? It can only get better. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video.